Hi everyone and welcome to another card making video. When I don't know what to create, I love looking at others for inspiration. Sometimes it sparks a whole different idea, sometimes I copy the design of the card and I use supplies I have. I always credit the original maker, be sure to do that if you do something like this too. For this card, I took inspiration from a card made by Sara. I put the link to her Instagram in the description, so be sure to check that out. So, without further ado, let's get started. Spreek je Nederlands? Er is ondertiteling beschikbaar. I used the Flying High stamp set from hellobluebird for my version of the card. The hot air balloon is so fun and you can add different decorations and critters to it. I stamped all my images out with Lanvin jet black ink using my Misty, so I can stamp multiple times to get a nice crisp impression. I already die cut the images and put them back in the paper for easy coloring. Later on I will show you a trick for die cutting the hot air balloon though, because the die has close lines so it makes it hard to see if you aligned it right. I color in my images with my Copic markers. I put the color number on the left of my paper so you know which color number I use. If you want more details on any supply I use during the video, be sure to check out the blog post I linked in the description to learn more about that. If you want to skip watching me color, you can skip to the time that pop-ups on the screen now. You can also find the clickable time link in the description. To finish the images off, I'm adding highlights with a white gel pen. Normally I like to trace the inner lines with a black fine liner, but these lines are thinner and therefore hard to trace. They also needed less than thicker lines, so I keep it as it is. So, for die cutting the hot air balloon, I use a scrap piece of paper that I used to die on. Now you can line up the paper with the images of the hot air balloon. While keeping it in place, you can pop the die right in, and as you can see, it won't move out of place. Now you can tape things down and run it through your die cutting machine and the image is cut out nicely. I cut a stitched slimline panel out of some white cardstock that's suitable for ink blending. I'm going to blend a gradient with different colors inspired by the original card. I use distress oxides for this, and I like to do this with a blending tool because I find it easier to blend the full panel with these. At the bottom I start with antique linen. The next color is speckled egg. I go back and forth between the colors if needed to smoothly blend them together. I do the same with the next color, which is shaded lilac. Now, with seedless preserves and a blending brush, I'm adding a little color to the top and side edges. I do this around the purple and blue, not the colored part at the bottom. For the sides, I'm blending it a little more inward because I will be cutting off a strip on both sides later. Now, with the cloudy stencil from Lanvin, I'm going to blend some clouds to the bottom part. I'm using Victorian velvet and a blending brush for this. I try to blend the clouds so that they seem to disappear behind each other. Off screen, I'm covering the clouds with a piece of scrap paper and I'm splattering the rest with metallic watercolor paint. To finish off the clouds, I'm using my white Signo broadband to highlight all the edges of the clouds. With the same stitched slimline die, I cut a piece of patterned paper. I also made a craft paper card base. I'm going to cut strips out of the side of the background, so the patterned paper will be a little visible. I'm cutting off half a centimeter from both sides. Now I need to stamp on the sentiment before I assemble the card. I place my Hello die, which can be found in a gallery frame number 6 set from hellobluebird. I'm using my MISTI for the stamping. You can mask off the Hello from the sentiment stamp or just wipe the ink off like I did. My background was still a bit moist and the ink doesn't stamp really good on the highlighted areas, so I traced the text with my black fine liner. Now I'm placing back the Hello die and I place the cut out Hello pieces on top of it. I now can pick it up with some super sensitive tape. This makes it super easy to add some glue and place it back in the right position. Now I can do the rest of the assembly. I first use my ATG gun to adhere the patterned paper to the card base. Then I'm adding tin foam tape to my background so it will be lifted off the card slightly to give it some dimension. Now it's time to add the images. First I glue the critters into the basket. Then I glue on the decorations. I add thin foam tape to the back and adhere it on the card. Letting the image stick out from the side for a bit adds some interest and dimension as well. I glue one bird to the background and the other bird I adhere with foam tape to the balloon. And with that, my card is finished. I love using other people's cards for inspiration when I'm out of inspiration myself. It gives me room to create and use my own creativity, but I don't have to come up with the whole design myself. I think my card turned out to be a great sibling of the original. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and that you feel inspired to get crafty as well. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell to receive a notification when a new video is up. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!